Hello, what you doing up there? Oh my gosh, he's eating into the coconut. If I was ordering a caravan again, here are the things that I would make sure that I included from the manufacturer before it left the lot. Because after living in this thing for almost 3 years, we've learned a lot and I want to share it with you. Every time I say this, I'm like, I feel so crazy, but we did it with like 2 kids, 2 cats and a dog in this little space. Like, no wonder my kids were like, get me out of here at the end. So we traveled around Australia for 2 years and lived in the caravan for nearly another year after that, whilst we were building our house and after moving here as well. And there's a lot of things that I thought I would use all the time. And then there's others that I'm like, that's maybe a bit of a waste of money. I guess we're kind of lucky as well because there's nothing that we've really regretted at all. And a lot of people, you see the videos and they're like, I regretted this so much, but this video is not about that. It's more about telling you what we did that worked for us. So that when you're buying a new van, whether it be secondhand or brand new, you can think about looking for these things. And then others you might go, oh, if it doesn't have that, it doesn't really matter. My gosh. It's so funny because I haven't been out here in a few weeks and I don't know how it's got messy. It's like a little phantom's come in here and messed it up. Okay, storage is one big thing. Like, we found that this van has lots of storage. It doesn't really matter if you're not living in it full time because you really don't need, if you're going over for a couple of weeks, you don't need this much storage. But if you are going and packing up your whole house and traveling for a year or 2, storage is really important. Our van has all that storage there. It has storage underneath there, underneath here, up there, and then a whole section there for the kids' clothes. Not to mention that in our actual, like the pantry and everything, there's loads of storage. So I guess, yes, definitely look at how much storage the van has and make sure that you would be able to put enough stuff in here to survive a month or 5 weeks. Because if you're going to do a bigger trip, it's going to be a couple of months. It just makes things a lot easier if everything has a space or a place that it goes. We found that when we traveled full time and we emptied the house, we took things that we definitely didn't need. So if you're packing up, make sure that you only take what you absolutely need. You don't need any fancy clothes. We took a generator and we used it once, and the other time that we needed to use it was down in Cockle Creek in Tasmania because it rained and was cold and wet for like 10 days straight and we needed it to charge and it wasn't charged and we needed petrol. So it's funny how things work, isn't it? We went with an L-shaped lounge. We did this because I felt like it gave a little bit more space. I think like the ones in the club lounges, they just seemed smaller to me. I'm not sure if that's actually true, but I feel like as well, we've got a good amount of space to walk through here. And you've got to remember, if you're going to be in your caravan 4 weeks at a time or living in it, there's going to be 2 people coming past here all the time. And that was a bit of a pain in the butt, you know, when you're trying to cook and people are trying to get past. But this option, I feel, gives you a bit more space down the middle. So something to consider as well. The other thing, and the reason why I love the Jayco so much, was that you could have your kitchen looking out onto where your camp area would be, because your camp area is going to be out here. You know, where your pergola is, you're going to set up your kitchen, your barbecue and everything just out there. And it was very specific to me that I wanted to have that, not the lounge on that side. So there's a lot of manufacturers don't make them like that. So we either went for a Jayco, which was extremely good value compared to the other vans, or we had one custom made. And that then at the time would mean that the $65,000 Jayco or a $90,000 van of another sort that looked about the same quality as this. I'm not talking about Lotuses or anything like that. I'm just talking like a normal caravan. But because they had to make it, yeah, it was going to be like 85 or 90 grand. Again, why we went for a Jayco, because this was 65 grand. Such good value. Another thing that we were looking for from the style of van was a bed that you could kind of walk around. You know, that you can walk around this side and Mark can get in this side and I can walk around that side, so that you're not climbing over each other. Because the van that we had prior to this was like a Jayco Swan, I think it was a retro van. It was so cool, like a pop-up one. Like, I think they call them like a camper trailer. Anyway, he had to get over me, or I had to get over him, which is, again, it's fine. But when we wanted to get our dream van, that was when we go, okay, well, let's get what we want in it. And that was very significant. Like, we wanted that. It's so funny because when we traveled, there was stuff all down here. So basically had to climb from the end of the bed over anyway. But if we didn't have that space, we wouldn't have had enough storage either. Oven. Let's talk about the oven, because a lot of people say, why do you need an oven? I didn't worry about an oven, but for me, it was really important because I like cooking roasts. I didn't do much baking, but I do like having things in there. And it was actually really good because we're also from Victoria, where it's a bit cooler. So we didn't put a diesel heater in. A lot of people do that. We didn't bother because we have the oven, and so we'd cook inside, close everything up, and it would heat the caravan up really, really fast. And yeah, we've got the Weber, which you can cook roasts on outside, but again, you don't always want the Weber going outside when you're cooking roast. To me, it's not really ideal. So having that stove was definitely something that I wanted. Again, if you don't have the budget for it, it doesn't matter. You'll work it out. You don't need to always be cooking a roast once a week or baking a cake. I would do like curries in there as well. I could fry them on the top and then pop them in there for a little while if I wanted to warm the caravan up. Talking about the caravan warming it up, the thing is as well, is that if there's 4 of you and we had the cats and dogs in here, everything closed up, it actually warms up really quickly. So when we were in Tasmania and it was cold, we would just close everything up, close all the curtains, like the up and down things, and then the curtains as well, and it would be nice and cozy in here without the diesel heater. Fridge, a full fridge is really important. We also ran the Ingle for drinks. We actually had a freezer as well. The freezer isn't that big, but you definitely want that, because if you're going off grid for 8 days or 2 weeks or something like that, you want to be able to freeze your meat. Otherwise you'll have no meat left, of course. We had a microwave. That didn't really bother me that much. At the time, our kids were old enough, they didn't need microwave bottles, and you really only use that when you're at a caravan park. And so the way that we traveled, it was like we did 5 or 6 days off grid and then 2 days in a caravan park. So that also brings me to, do you need a washing machine? I was so adamant on having a washing machine, which is so funny. It's not really funny. I still would want one now. But the thing is, they're so small. It's 3 kilos. It does quarter of a washing amount that you need to do a load of washing every day with just maybe 2 with the clothes that you wear and hang them out. But again, if you're off grid, this doesn't work. So depending on what kind of battery setup you have, I'm sure that my husband wouldn't have wanted me to be running the washing machine and using all the water when we're off grid, because it uses a lot of water and it uses a lot of power. So if you do have the other setup with the batteries, you got to be mindful of how much power it's taking. But yes, if you have the budget and it fits in the van, I would recommend it still, because it is nice using your own washing machine if you camped up somewhere, than having to go use the washing machines at the caravan park, because they cost a lot of money, but also it's a pain in the ass because you've got to put your washing on, then you've got to kind of watch it, so you're going back all the time. And it's also annoying for other people too, because they got their washing in there and it could be sitting there while you're standing there waiting for the washing machine, and you have to take it out or you have to do that kind of thing. And I always feel uncomfortable taking, I think I can see a snake, uncomfortable taking other people's stuff out of the washing machine. I don't like doing it. Can you see that? Is that a snake in the tree? How cool would that be? A shower and a toilet in the van, to me, is 100% yes. Even when you're going off grid, you still want to have a quick shower in there. The way that we would do it when we're off grid is we would turn the shower on, get wet, turn it off, lather up, and then turn the shower off while you're lathering up, and then turn it back on and hose yourself down. So basically you're having a 50-second shower and it wouldn't use that much water. So if you like to be clean at night, that is a great way of doing it. And to me, as well with kids, because it's hard to get them to shower, obviously, when they've got so much going on. I definitely highly recommend a shower. It doesn't need to be like ours, as long as you've got some sort of shower. Yes, definitely. If you're only going for the weekends, that's fine. You're probably camping and you're going to go when it's good weather. But if you're going longer term, you want to sit inside and watch the telly and watch a movie sometimes. 100% recommend. Aircon, another who cares kind of thing, but that actually reverts as a heater and aircon. And when we were stationary somewhere, we used that all the time. We tried to avoid using it like the aircon, because I don't like the feeling of aircon on inside. We'd have the windows open and the breeze would come through, because, you know, the windows there and there and there, the breeze comes through really well. And that leads me to fans. Now, this is almost another video which is about things that you would add afterwards, but apparently you can get these fans, which they're the Sirocco ones, at the caravan park. And if you are getting a van, these are a couple $100, maybe even $300. I would get one each side and one each bunk, 100%, because this one we turn on and it kind of pushes the air this way. So when you're cooking, you could even have another one up here. That's a bit of an expense, but an expense that if you're in the tropics or Darwin, it's worth it, rather than running the aircon all the time. Up to you. But for me, that's what I would do. This is still good just having one, but I'd probably put a smaller version or this even in the kids so that they've got more air flowing. This is another extra that we had put on. That's like one of those little tables that sit out, and 100% it was actually quite cheap, but it's so handy when you're just pulling up and pulling the awning out and you're putting that out, and you can kind of set up your breakfast and stuff on there. I would definitely even get another one if you can, because then you don't have to always get like the plastic table, the portable table, if you had a couple of these, and then you can just, you know, close them up and lock them up. A lot of people, you know, in this little bunk thing here, we have our barbecue in there that slides out, and I think you can actually get them at the manufacturer. I would probably get it at the manufacturer too, if you can. Save your time, save your money, piss farting around. One of our friends actually had a slide out kitchen, which was kind of really cool as well. It had like taps and all that kind of thing, but for me, I kind of like to have the barbecue there. It'd be good if there was like that and a sink, and maybe like somewhere where you could cook, like boiler kettle as well, but remembering that you want to have stuff inside away from the wind, because I also found that when I'm cooking out here, sometimes it's a bit windy and the wind goes underneath the flames, which might also happen if you've got a gas cooker. I know it doesn't look like it, but I think we got like a bit of an extended drawbar. They're great, and our friend has got one that's really long. He's got a steel box there, and he actually has his barbecue coming out of that, which again is good, but you've got to consider the weight. And yeah, we ended up not going ahead with putting it one there. The cost that was associated with it as well, we found it was like a little bit too much. So, and we've managed, because we've got the gas bottles there, so we would have had to rearrange that whole thing. So that's something to consider when you're buying your van. If you can lay that out differently, obviously want to do that well and truly before you actually get it built. As far as Mark's tools and stuff, he kept them in the back of the car, and he's taken them out obviously now. You shouldn't need too much to take, but it was very handy. He had tools for everything. That's a shower, outdoor shower. We didn't use it that much, and I thought it was a really important thing to have, and I would still definitely get another one if we were getting another van. The thing is that if you're camping on the beach, it is around that side. It'd be good if it was like kind of over here so you could wash your feet and then go inside. It's definitely great if you've got little kids who can hose them off after they've been in the beach before they go to bed or whatever, and, you know, get all the salt water off them. Yeah, it was handy, and also it's been handy with the dog too, to give her a hose down when it's been really hot. Something I would recommend. Shouldn't cost too much money, but I would put that on the list. And then this is the last one, a bike rack. I would definitely recommend adding a bike rack if you've got kids that are in primary school. I don't know if our kids would use them now, but at the time when we were traveling, it was so good. to have the bike rack already on there. I think it was $250 or something like that. I would definitely recommend, definitely add that onto your list if you've got kids and they like to bike ride. They may not bike ride when you're home, but when you're out traveling, they'll ride around the caravan park, or they might ride up and down the dirt tracks, you know, at the campsite that you're at. It's just so handy just to have them on the back there. We saw some people that had the bikes on the front, which is fine, but for me, having that window at the front was so important. I love being able to have that open and then looking out at the view from the front. And if you're in a caravan park, I know it's dumb, but it's kind of fun to see the people walk past. Like, I don't know, it's your entertainment basically. Yeah, and make sure that you get these things if they're not on the outside. I would even get more of them if you can. Yeah, that's for charging, and if you're off grid you want that one, and then this one's obviously for if you're on power. That was important too, to have that so that the kids, you can have stuff set up outside like the toaster and if you want to put the kettle out there, or if you want to put the TV out there, you've got those plugs out there, which just make things so much easier. Yeah, I think that's it. If I think of anything else, we did have like a sound system as well. Mark would use that a lot, but I didn't use it that often. Yeah, and I'll do a different video about the things that we added and we installed afterwards, and things that you should get to take on your trip. So if I've already made that video, I'll pop it up here, but I will pop up here other videos about camping and our caravan tours and that kind of thing, so that you can watch more of them. But if you want a full tour of our caravan, I'll pop it on the screen here somewhere so that you can watch that. So yeah, that's my list of things that I wouldn't skip if you were thinking about buying a caravan. Hopefully it saves you a few headaches and a few arguments. I always like to say to my husband, you know, like, who cares? Just get it. I mean, if you are buying a Jayco van and you're not spending 150 grand on a caravan, then these little extras are not going to cost much compared to paying double the price to get a really expensive caravan. So if you want to support my content and you want more behind the scenes, I do have a membership. It's $5.99. Think of it as supporting my content and helping me continue to create these videos, and donating a cup of coffee a month. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more about camping and caravanning Australia and our life in Airlie Beach. Thanks so much for hanging out in my little corner of the internet.
What are you doing?
I am doing a video
for
YouTube.
Why are you sitting here in the dark?
Is it dark? I was just telling them about things that I would put in my caravan if I was buying a brand new one.
A bed.
I said about the L shape, the way that the kitchen is this way. I talked about full-size fridge, the oven, air cons. I talked about the shower outside, the bike rack, and the wash machine, the toilet, etc. I think they were the main things. Anyway, drop a comment below what kind of caravan you think you're buying and where you're watching from. And life's weird and I vlog it. We'll see you in the next one. Is there anything you'd add? No?